Welcome to DTV. We're very lucky we're joined by Neil Craig, who's joined the Melbourne Football Club, and it's a great thrill to have him here. And Neil, can you just first of all talk about your role at the club?
Yeah, well, it's a relatively new role, Matt, which is starting to emerge in the AFL clubs. So it's particularly at this football club. It's sort of, I think, three main parts. One is to be, directly involved with Mark's coaching group. And I guess using my experience from previous times and in offering observations, being a critical friend, some mentoring, and all that, working with both Mark and the assistant coaches and the development coaches and the IT people. So I'm really looking forward to that because that sort of keeps me directly involved with the game, which is a real passion for me. On top of that, it's important to have always to keep on top of where the game's going, because it does evolve really quickly. We used to thought it would be every couple of years, and it's sort of got to maybe each new season. But I think there's a general feeling at the moment that sometimes it can evolve within the season as well. That's important from that your training and the type of player you're recruiting and the education of coaches. So as part of that is to try and keep an eye on the trending of the game. And I know the other thing which the club's really keen on, and I certainly applaud it, is on the innovations, the strategy to be really strong on innovations. Let's try and make the Melbourne Football Club, where possible, the first to do new things, to be out there, to be ahead of the pack. So you put those three areas together, and it's a pretty exciting job.
You've had almost 15 years at Adelaide, a season or so off with other commitments, but how hard was that, leaving Adelaide and moving to Victoria and also another AFL club? It's a big step for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it has. Adelaide's been a big part of my my life. Adelaide, the city, and playing football in Adelaide and coaching in the SANFL, and then being involved with the Adelaide Crows. So it's been great memories of that, and I'm going to miss coaching the Adelaide Football Club, but that was decided, and that was the right decision for the club, and so we get on with things. But this is exciting as well. We often talk to players about putting themselves up on the line, getting out of their comfort zones, and so it's no different to people like myself. So this is certainly, having lived in Adelaide for 30 odd years. To have to move interstate now and come to a brand new football club, even though I'm 55 years of age, it gets me out of my comfort zone, and it's exciting. It's going to be really great for myself. Selfishly, it'll be good for me, but hopefully I can actually bring something to the Melbourne Football Club as well.
There's a lot of talk about your future in several other clubs and organisations outside of football seeking your services. Can you talk about that process and the actual decision making? It was obviously a fair bit to consider.
It was. I mean, it was quite humbling because when you finish as a senior coach, there's a period there for in terms of your doubt, your self belief. It's a tough time to go through. And what was really good for me was be able to have the opportunity to talk to a range of other AFL clubs in the competition. And a lot of those discussions were about, perhaps working for those football clubs and bringing the skill set that I've been able to develop. And so that's been really good for me personally. So the competition, the AFL industry has been fantastic to me. It also got me to be able to look at some other environments in the AFL. Having only been at the Adelaide Football Club for 15 odd years, you can become quite blinkered and insular in the way you think. So just the capacity to talk to other AFL clubs for my own professional development has been fantastic. And of course, at some stage though, you've got to make a decision. And my decision to come to the Melbourne Football Club was based on what Mark's trying to develop here, the vision he has in terms of the coaching structure and getting developing this into an absolute high performance winning environment. But underpinned by a really high degree of integrity with the way you go about your business. And that's certainly been handed down from the board of this football club. High performance, high integrity, which suits me to an absolute T. So there's that aspect. I love the history of the Melbourne Football Club. And I think that's something that the members and the supporters of the Melbourne Football Club should be really, really proud of. It certainly attracted to me, and it played a part of my decision making to come to this football club. And so that was part of it. And the other part of it was I spent quite a bit of time talking to Cameron Swab, the CEO, and had a great opportunity to talk to the board of the Melbourne Football Club. And two things struck me from those conversations. One is the absolute passion the board members and Cameron has to continue for this football club to improve. And secondly, they're up for becoming a high performance environment. And that means there's going to be a lot of challenges and certain confrontations that happen when you go down that path. But it's so for all those reasons, Matt, it's been the right decision for me.
Yeah. And just working with Mark Neal briefly and looking at the coaching structure, how do you sort of view that from your background?
Well, I'm still getting to know Mark, and vice versa. But he knows what he wants. He's pretty clear in his thinking, which is fantastic. That's imperative for any coach, let alone a new coach coming into the job. So, and the more I sit with Mark and talk with him, we'll build that relationship, and that needs to be a really strong working relationship. So I have an obligation to make sure I play my part in that, and I will, and I look forward to it because I really like what I see with Mark, and I think in terms of character and integrity, and that high integrity fits in with what the Melbourne Football Club's about. It's a slightly different coaching structure than that I've been exposed to, but that's good. I'm going to learn a lot from this football club. I'm going to learn a lot from Mark Neal, coming from Collingwood. So selfishly, I'm soaking it all up myself. A lot of new people, and that means there'll be some, there'll be some minor problems to start with because everyone's new, not quite sure who does what. So it's exciting to get new people on board, and your members should be really excited about what they're probably seeing with the coaches that are coming here. But part of the job for that coaching group is to make sure it becomes a functional group, not a dysfunctional group, which is very easy to happen when you get a lot of newness happening very quickly. So it's in general, it's been fantastic.
Yeah. Obviously, you work with Todd Viney at Adelaide, but just talk about some of the Melbourne connections you might have at the club.
Well, it's not a lot. I mean, indirectly I have. Red and blue. Yep. I started my career in the SANFL, a club called Norwood, which is the red and blue. Todd absolutely spent, I think, 2 years at the Adelaide Football Club and played a significant role there. And I really enjoyed working with Todd. I liked his hardness, his capacity to think, and his preparedness to debate, but still work very strongly in a team environment. So I know Todd's got great passion for your football club. I've had a little bit to do with Brian Royal, but I'm looking forward to getting to know Brian even better. But he's been in the game for a long period of time, highly experienced assistant coach, and the Melbourne Football Club I would think would be very lucky to have Brian around as well. So that's in terms of those sort of direct involvements. But there's some people I've sort of known in the industry and that sort of thing, but not probably to the extent of a Todd Viney.
Just finally, sort of moving to Victoria, what are you most looking forward to, aside, I guess, from the football, just shifting interstate?
Well, Adelaide to Melbourne. You've been to Adelaide?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a country town to a city. It's and it's a vibrant city, particularly if you love sport, which I do. I mean, we're based here at the precinct, opposite, adjacent to the MCG. And just the hive of activity here with the tennis centre and the building that's going on. You got Melbourne Victory, you got the Storm. I had an opportunity to meet Craig Bellamy yesterday because he was walking past our front door. That doesn't happen to me in Adelaide, so hopefully I can establish a great relationship with Craig, so I can learn off him as well. So there's that aspect of it. There's I know my family are looking forward to coming to Melbourne. It's because it's new and it's vibrant and it's a big city, and my wife's got a couple of really close friends here. So we're looking forward to it. Even though it's a big move for us as a family, but it's an exciting move.
And just one finally, just for music fans, what are you into? What do you listen to, Neil?
Well, it depends whether who listens to this interview, Matt. I mean, they wouldn't. Some people wouldn't know Roy Orbison, Travelling Wilburys, and those sort of. So I'm back in that era, mate.
That's all right. That's good.
Yeah. So there might be a bit of that sort of music floating around in the gym later on. Might give the younger players of this football club some exposure of some real history and some real what real talent looks like, real class looks like. High performance music is what they need to be exposed to.
Very good. I concur. Neil, it's been fantastic chatting to you, and great to have you at Melbourne. And best of luck for next year and the years ahead.
Good on you, matey. Pleasure to be here, and the Melbourne supporters they can feel excited about the season coming up. There's still going to be some tough times, but they should be very excited with what this football club is trying to do for them.